Let's use the new ChatGPT-4o model to analyze the Magnificent 7 stocks. These are NVIDIA, Meta, Tesla, Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple. And as you can see in this chart from Statista, they have all outperformed, significantly outperformed the S&P 500 in 2023. And in my humble opinion, they will continue to do so because of the disruptive innovation that is AI. Okay, so but no matter what, I mean, this is just my opinion. It doesn't really matter my opinion. Let's analyze ChatGPT-4o's capability, because so in the most recent videos, in the most recent Finxter videos, we have analyzed NVIDIA, Tesla stock, Google stock, and so on, and we have used ChatGPT-4o to shed some light on annual reports and to actually feed it with a lot of information at the same time and try to find good prompts that compare the huge information that is encoded in these annual and quarterly reports of those companies. So here is such an example of the NVIDIA report. This is a 10K, the most recent filing from NVIDIA, where they just like on a lot of pages, like 96 pages, they provide information about their business, about their like income statement, cash flow statements, all the beautiful stuff that is tough to read for normal human beings like us. So we would probably would take you and me a day to read, or multiple days to read like every word of this report, of a single report. But now what we are doing here is we feed ChatGPT-4o, so let's try this. We feed it with the most recent quarterly reports of all the Mag 7 stocks, right? So we have Amazon annual report, we have Tesla quarterly filing. Actually, I think it's a 10Q, so this is the quarterly filing, right? The most recent quarterly filing of the Microsoft Corporation, of Meta platforms, of Google. You can find those reports, just search for investor Meta, for example, or investor Alphabet, and it will give you like the investor relation website, and you can download the most recent quarterly filing from there. And all of those are like this one would be 46 pages long, right? From Alphabet. They have like financial information and everything. So they have all the information we need to analyze those companies. And we will find some interesting insights, such as which company pays out most stock options to its employees, right? So stay tuned and keep watching those. Okay, so these are the filings, the reports we will analyze. I've already downloaded them as PDFs. So here we have the PDFs. I will just throw the PDFs into this. So now it uploads all the PDFs into ChatGPT-4o, and I have prepared a couple of questions. Let's see how good it can answer it. So these kind of live demos, I think they are fun, and they shed some light on the capability of ChatGPT-4o, the new model. And I found that it has some amazing textual understanding, and even like it can understand and extract information from huge amounts of text. So this is definitely superior to human beings. Okay, so now we have all the reports there, right? Now let's start with something fun. Let's try to find out which of the company pays out most in stock options to its employees. So if you work for any of the Mag 7 companies, where can you expect to be paid most in stock options? Because we all want stock options, right, in beautiful companies. Good, so now we have uploaded all the recent reports, and ChatGPT-4o is capable in a single prompt of processing all this information and find out specifics, such as how many stock options granted in millions. So this is beautiful, right? Isn't it? I mean, now we have for each company like Apple, NVIDIA, Tesla, Meta, Google, Amazon, we have the number of stock options granted in millions. We have the stock-based compensation, because this is part of the report, right? They provide this information in the report, how many stock-based compensation they have. And you can see Apple has the biggest stock-based compensation because, so the average stock options per employee would be huge, right? It's like 213,000 or so, right? So this is great information. So Apple has granted 203 million RSUs, restricted stock units, and the stock-based compensation expenses 34 billion. So collectively for those employees, they paid 34 billion in stock options. This is just insane, right? I mean, insane stock compensation. So if you work for any of those companies, you would get compensated this much stock options. Okay, so I think it's great. Here you can see, okay, it would be best maybe not to work for Amazon, right? Because they don't pay a lot in stock options for their employees, but maybe work for NVIDIA or Apple, right? This could be like, it is interesting information, but this was just like the initial prompt to get started. So you can see it can extract all this information from the reports, from the quarterly filings. Good. So now I want actually, we have done a lot of analysis for the NVIDIA stock, right? In the recent Finxter videos. So if you check out the Finxter channel, Finxter YouTube channel, you see we have done a lot of analysis for NVIDIA. So here you see like the most recent video was about NVIDIA. We have done here NVIDIA about sovereign AI. We have videos on NVIDIA regarding the top modes of NVIDIA and the top vulnerabilities of NVIDIA. So we have done some analysis using ChatGPT for the NVIDIA stock, but now we want to actually figure out how much the tech giants, the Max 7 tech giants, will spend on NVIDIA hardware next year, right? So we want to get some alpha here. We want to actually predict if NVIDIA's revenue from those tech giants will grow this year or shrink. And all the tech giants in their quarterly filings, they will already indicate to their shareholders whether they plan to spend more on AI training hardware or less, and more on NVIDIA hardware or less, right? So let's ask it if it can go over all the reports, all the quarterly filings of those tech giants, whether they'll increase or decrease their spend for NVIDIA products in the upcoming quarter, all right? So maybe we find some information here. Okay, now it is reading the documents. It is using a retrieval augmented generation method to extract this information. I found that the ChatGPT-4o model is really, the retrieval augmented generation method really works beautifully for the 4o model. It is much better than the ChatGPT-4t turbo model and so on, right? So, okay, Apple does not provide specific detail, but yeah, this is like a more general purpose, right? Okay, it also gives us a summary table. This is good. So Apple is likely to increase due to their research and development and infrastructure investments. NVIDIA internally forecasts an increase of demand in the next year, so we will likely to see more spend on AI infrastructure. Tesla has more demand internally due to their self-driving vehicle efforts. Here we see, maybe I'm not so happy with this result, right? Because it's a bit like generic. This is just words. Give me specific numbers if possible. Let's ask it. Let's keep asking, keep probing it for more information. So okay, now it gives me this split test. It generates two answers so that it can learn the better way of presenting information to users, right? So here so what is this? This one is the second response, still analyzing. What is this? This is complete garbage, right? The second response. Okay, so the first response obviously is much better. Okay, so let's see if this one gives us more information. Yeah, I mean, this is a bit more specific, not too... Okay, so I think this is not so useful, honestly. Maybe I didn't ask in the right way. Based on, so what search each filing for specific expectations on CapEx spending for AI infrastructure. For instance, how many GPUs does Meta plan to buy? Also analyze for the other companies. Sometimes we need to keep probing it. Remember, this is a live demo. I didn't prepare the response, obviously. ChatGPT is, okay, now this is great. This is perfect, okay? Now, you see, sometimes it is not like ChatGPT-4o is incapable of doing those things. Sometimes it just does not understand the question and you need to keep probing. I think this is a good to remember for prompt engineers like us. We need to keep probing and keep pushing further, because then if we do it, then it gives us the information we are looking for, right? If you ask good questions, you get good answers. So now Meta anticipates capital expenditures of up to 40 billion. And this is primarily focused on data centers, and lots of this money will go to NVIDIA, obviously. Google spending 12 billion capital expenditure. So now we get the information, okay? So we will see significant investment in AI infrastructure, so NVIDIA's revenue will keep growing in the year 2024. Okay, this is good. Now let's have some fun. We did a lot of valuation work, right, recently. So let's let it calculate a DCF valuation for each of those giants, and we want to have it in a table, right? It should figure out, based on the reports, its own expectations of the 10-year growth rates, and then assume like an infinite growth rate of maybe 2% or so. And it should give us all assumptions, right, from the discounted cash flow analysis. And I found that ChatGPT-4o is much less shy of giving us this information than ChatGPT-4t or the other models, ChatGPT 3.5. And this is what I like a lot about the new ChatGPT-4o model, that it really gives us some specific information, it really does the predictions. It does not shy away from giving us these predictions. So it's much more useful, I think. In the end, we are the investors. We need to decide if we believe those numbers or not, but we should at least get the opinion, right, from the AI. Otherwise, we cannot, it is not useful. If the AI doesn't give us its opinion, then it's not useful for us. If it just gives us generic fluff, we cannot use it anymore. So I'm not a fan of this woke AI, right, kind of behavior where it just doesn't give us the answer. Good, here it gives us the revenue. Let's have a look at this table. This sounds interesting. The DCF valuation. So Apple has revenue of 210 billion. Interestingly, Amazon has a higher revenue number than Apple, even though Amazon has a much smaller market cap. And the reason for this is that Apple has higher profitability. So Apple has net income of 57 billion, whereas Google has net income of 59 billion, interestingly. But and here we see the growth rates of those companies and the DCF valuations in billions. So the DCF valuation for Apple is 959 billion, and for Google would be the highest, right? So based on the growth figures, okay, it uses the growth rate. This is the growth rate it assumes, right? It assumes Apple will grow at 7% annually for the next 10 years, and after that it will grow 2% forever, right? And here NVIDIA, it assumes it grows 15%. Tesla assumes growth rate of 12%. I think it's very conservative, right? But okay, it's fine to be conservative, right? Meta, it assumes to be 10%. It assumes to grow 10% each year. Google 9%, Amazon 10%. So I think these are reasonable numbers. I think I would double most of those numbers, right? Because I'm a bit more optimistic. But it's fine to be conservative. And the DCF valuation here is roughly 1 trillion for Apple, the Apple market cap currently is much higher than 1 trillion, right? So let's have a look. Apple market cap is 2.9 trillion, right? So Apple is like 3 times as expensive as ChatGPT predicts here. So ChatGPT is very conservative in its valuation for those companies. According to ChatGPT, those companies are all overvalued at this point, right? Even Tesla has a market cap of only 286 billion and a fair value, not a market cap, fair value. But if you look at this, if you look at the stop. Tesla. The Tesla market cap is 571 billion currently. And it says, okay, 286. So like it is 50% also. In fact, let's have another valuation metric. Let's value each of those companies based on an appropriate PE ratio. And it should use the common sense and also like implicit and explicit information about those companies, because we provided those reports, right? So it should give us a value not only on the discounted cash flow analysis, but also do a price earnings multiple. So for instance, if a company makes 1 billion in a given year and the price earnings ratio is 30, then it should be valued at 30 billion. Okay, let's see. Here is the table. It gives us a table of with PE ratio, current revenue, net income growth rates, DCF valuation, and PE ratio. Okay, so now we get 2 valuations in this table, right? For instance, here with Apple, we have a DCF valuation of 959 billion and a PE valuation using a very conservative PE ratio of 25 of 1.4 trillion. Still Apple would be overvalued according to this, right? And Tesla would have a higher PE ratio because we have a higher expected growth rate. Yeah, I think it's fine, right? And here it gives us some justification of the PE ratio for the different companies. So I think this is great. I mean, this is just great stuff, right? I think it makes a lot of sense. Many of those assumptions make sense. They are very conservative still, but they make sense, right? To, for example, assign a higher PE ratio to Tesla than to Apple. Of course, we can now critique each of those numbers, but no matter which numbers we would come up with, we could critique those, right? There's no like objective truth. This is investment, so it's all a probabilistic game. By the way, no investment advice, obviously. Good, so now let's inject some truth to it. Let's probe the model to research for each of those companies the current market cap and give us in a separate table whether they believe it's over or undervalued and by how much. Let's see. So it searched 5 sites. This is beautiful, right? It searches 5 sites. It figures out the market cap of each of those. The current market cap of Apple, we already checked, it's 2.9 trillion. NVIDIA 2.16 trillion. Tesla is currently only 810 billion. And yeah, and now it is like under or overvalued. Each of those seem to be overvalued according to here. But the one being most overvalued is NVIDIA according to ChatGPT. Let's see. I mean, the future will show us if it is right. So maybe let's do one final test, just so that we can confirm that it really uses the information from the reports we just gave them. It reads the document. It analyzes the cash for each of those companies. Let's maybe open one of those here, NVIDIA. Let's go to the balance sheet, so that we can confirm. Balance sheet often comes in the beginning somewhere, right? Should not be too difficult to find it. Okay, so in this case, here I saw it, consolidated balance sheet. Okay, here we see the cash cash and cash equivalents is like 7 billion or so for NVIDIA. Could be different, it depends, because this is now from January 28th, right? Let's see. But NVIDIA would be like 7 billion, something on these order of magnitude. Yeah, so you see, NVIDIA 7 billion. So it's the same order of magnitude. Great, okay, so it gives us the information, it finds the information according to this table. Google has most of the cash. Would you have expected this? I would have expected Apple to have more cash, but Google, I think Apple did a lot of share buyback, so they used the cash to buy back their own shares. Google still sits on a lot of cash, 108 billion of cash. So all in all, I have to say I'm again mind blown. ChatGPT-4o is so useful. This tool is so useful. Warren Buffett spends most of his day reading annual reports, but now you can read all of those reports in a single prompt, right? So sooner or later, like the Warren Buffett style of investment will die out, and we will use AI to incorporate much more information at once in our investment analysis. Thanks for watching this video. I'm really grateful to have you here. I'm grateful that you spent your valuable time, your most valuable resource, which is your time, with me. Please subscribe to the channel if you would like to be on the right side of change. My number one goal with Finxter is to be on the right side of change. You can check out Finxter.com, and here you can see the main purpose of Finxter is to help you be on the right side of change, which means in our world we need to invest in many of the high growth industries. We need to become investors because our work becomes less and less relevant, as we have seen in this video, right? And you can see on the Finxter blog we address topics such as we analyze different companies, we analyze the future technologies. You can subscribe to our email newsletter. Just go here, put in your email here and join us. We already have 160,000 coders on the newsletter, and not only coders, also prompt engineers, AI engineers, just tech enthusiasts. And I keep you informed to help you be on the right side of change. This one is free. You can also check out the Finxter Academy. Just type in academy.finxter.com. Here we launch new courses every month on prompt engineering, on AI, so that you can not only learn how to become a great investor, how to invest in the technologies that change the world, but also how to stay relevant in tomorrow's world, right, with your work, because chances are we will not get disrupted by AI. We will get disrupted by people using AI more efficiently than we do, right? And the Finxter Academy teaches you all those skills, like how to build generative AI apps using Google's APIs, OpenAI's APIs, how to fine-tune models, how to build multi-agent teams and systems that work together, how to become a master of AI, right? Literally the master of AI slaves, and tell them what to do for our benefit. You can, if you want to finish one course, you can actually unlock each course. Like by just becoming a premium member, you get access to not only one but to each of the courses on the Finxter Academy. So, and the premium membership is quite cheap, so it's affordable to anybody, right? My goal was again to help all premium members be on the right side of change. It is like, I don't know, maybe $100 or so per year, 150, something like this. But it can unlock a whole career, right? Like a 6-figure income or so. No promises, but if you are a skilled prompt engineer, you can expect to make 6 figures on working for large companies such as the Mac 7 we have just analyzed. All of those have skilled prompt engineers and AI engineers, and like these skills unlock so much values for corporations that for many corporations they need those people capable of using and integrating AI into everyday processes. This is the big challenge of our time, to use the large language models, to use the alien tech, to integrate it with existing systems. And these are the skills we teach on the Finxter Academy. Okay, so join us. Thanks for watching. Give us a like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.